Hey everyone, this is Michael for Spirit Comics. Welcome, true readers, to my review of Inhumans Vs X-Men #1. Okay, let's take a look at this cover right here. Now, it's not a bad cover. It's got every bit of space used, which, like I've said, is important to me. And we've got, heroes against heroes, villains against villains. I mean, it's everybody against everybody. Mutants against Inhumans. But I'm not exactly sure what this is here in the background. I couldn't tell you even looking. Well, yeah, I can't. In the background, there were the light blue. That is, I think, Black Bolt going against Warren Worthington, the Archangel. Except Archangel isn't in this issue. So the cover, not bad, but like I've said before, it helps to have a physical copy on hand. Anyway, let's get into the story. Alright, now we open up with Beast, the Elder Beast, at the grave of Scott Summers, also known as Cyclops. It says, teacher, warrior, hero, mutant, he fought for us. Now, I don't know why in the previous issue, 0, that Emma Frost said ideas never die when she was looking at the same grave. Anyway, Beast says, oh yes, my old friend, you fought harder than any of us, even harder than Charles. And now, here we are, at the end. I wonder. This is Muir Island. Was it worth it? I'm still not sure I've made the right decision here. Some of the others can be a bit reactionary. I could see them deciding to go out in a blaze of glory, take some Inhumans down with us. I don't want that. We didn't always see eye to eye, Scott, but I'm sure you'd agree enough people have died, I think. What the hell are you doing, Hank? He says to himself. He's dead, you idiot. And I can appreciate that. When somebody that you love is gone, sometimes when you feel like you need a bit of help, you go to their grave thinking that they can hear you. Okay, so now we go inside, and who do we have here? From left to right, Magneto, Bridge, not Bridge, Forge? I think it's Forge. Yeah. Magneto, Forge, the young Hank McCoy, Emma Frost, Rogue, Storm with the really ultra cool mohawk hairstyle, and Old Man Logan. And there's the Elder Beast right there in the middle, covered in blue fur. And he says, well, it would seem I'm late. I apologize. I thought I'd take the opportunity to visit Cyclops' grave. And the younger Beast says, it's alright, Hank. At least one Beast was on time. Emma says, oh yes, let's banter. I simply love sitting in frigid metal conference rooms. It's my very favorite thing. And Rogue says, considering how absent you've been in everything else we've been dealing with lately, I'd just be glad to even be at this table if I were you, Emma. Oh! And Storm says, we all have important things we need to be doing. I suggest we get on with it. And of course you can see that this is like they're going to say, the representative of every mutant faction is meeting here to discuss the fate of the mutants. And oops, my bad. Over here, Beast says, Storm, I seriously doubt there's anything more important than what I am about to tell you. Getting all da-da-da-da! Suspenseful on us. And here, Logan, old man Logan, he sums it up. The Terrigen Mist is killing us, and we all have a half dozen other crises on our plates. Out with it, Furball. Whatever you've got, things can't get much worse. And of course, as we all know, whenever anybody says something can't get much worse, it usually does. So Beast says, I have learned to never utter that phrase, Logan. And I have to agree with him, because it's, it's just not a bright idea to utter that phrase. Beast says, you all know I've spent the past 8 months working to find a solution to the Terrigen Mist toxicity to mutants. I've worked closely with Medusa and the Inhumans on new Attilan, combining their science with our own. I have tried everything I could think of. I have failed. We're out of time. And so he tells the group. And they're hanging on every word. And so we see this here. I believe this is this is the page that sums everything up. It says, having both suffered losses, the X-Men and Inhuman leaders agreed to a truce, allowing mutant scientist Dr. Henry McCoy, aka Beast, to seek a means of peacefully preserving the future of both people, but now it seems the time for truce has come to an end. Okay. Now, Charles Soule and Jeff Lemire both wrote this issue, and I like both of them. I think they've both done some pretty good work in the past. And I don't recognize the artists on here. Of course, nobody's actually listed as artists or given any type of role whatsoever. Okay. Now we're taken to New York City, where somebody is entertaining a crowd, and somebody who actually has, yes, I'm going to say it, a chest. A discernible chest. And it's because she's wearing a very lovely gown. Packed house tonight, Black Bolt. Okay, we're in Black Bolt's domain, because he has his own club, the Hellfire Club. And this guy is called Flagman. Why? I can only guess it's because it looks like his hair is made of flags or something. Sort of a relief, actually. I was a little worried about the act. I mean, look at his hair. Or if that's not hair, I don't know what it is. I mean, it looks like a bunch of flags all mixed together. Oh, because she's new. Lady Shine, she calls herself. Came out of nowhere a couple months back. Started playing all the hot downtown clubs. I normally don't like to book anyone this green, but she's doing just fine. In fact, if you agree, I was thinking I might offer her a regular. I'm sorry to interrupt, Flagman. And of course, Black Bolt doesn't say a word. I'm not sure if he ever talks. But we have a VIP in one of the private rooms who's requested a word with Black Bolt. And Flagman says, how VIP are we talking? And the guy says, very. She tipped me $100 just for refilling her wine. Right. Well, I'm sure I can handle this. Black Bolt, you stay and enjoy the... Huh? And there's Lady Shine saying, guess he's not a fan. Thank you so much. See you next time. And Black Bolt's watching her closely. Then we're back in the bunker, I guess it is. The younger Beast says, what do you mean, out of time? If this is a time travel thing, and that's some terrible pun, I swear I don't care if you are me, I'll... And the older Beast says, it's not time travel. I almost wish it were. Cyclops destroyed the first Terrigen cloud before he died, but that still leaves one. We've been monitoring it, all doing our part to mitigate the damage to mutant kind. Storm and her team have been active in rescuing mutants and bringing them back to safe haven at the school in Limbo. Magneto, your team has helped as well, though I can't say I've always agreed with your actions. Well, a few people agree with Magneto's actions. That's that's just how it is, because he's rather extreme, or he can be extreme. And then Magneto says, as if I need your approval, Henry. The Terrigen has put all mutants in danger. I have done what needed to be done to protect them, and I always will. And of course, Emma Frost is hanging on every word he's saying. And the artist painted this comic book as rather dark because these are grim times that these mutants are in. So that reflects good on the atmosphere of the situation. It's excellent artwork. Storm interjects, because we agreed to a truce with the Inhumans, Emma, and we honor our word, and because the last time we went after the Terrigen, mutants died. Our current methods may not be as aggressive as you and Magneto might prefer, but they keep our people safe. And just look at her face. I mean, she's starting to get frustrated. That's a snarl on her lips. Oh, please, Storm. Do you actually think taking mutants to Limbo is any better? Have you been to Limbo? Demons under every rock, and you think it's a safe place to set up a school for mutants? And then Hank gets in the way and says, please, everyone, just listen to me, because he's always been the one who tries to find the safe solution out. We've all dealt with the crisis in our own way, but none of that matters anymore. Now we must work as one. In recent days, I've noticed an increase in Terrigen saturation levels all over the world, not just in the cloud's wake. Wait, linear or exponential? Exponential, I believe it's that's a Forge. The bad one, Forge. Uh-oh, he says. Exactly. Very soon we will reach a tipping point. The bonds holding the remaining cloud together will dissipate, and it will disperse rapidly throughout the atmosphere like a snapped rubber band. When that happens, it's the end of us. The Earth will become completely uninhabitable for mutants. And of course, we all know what happens when a rubber band snaps. You get a backlash against your skin, and it hurts. At least that's what happens to me. And here we are at New Attilan, Inhuman stronghold, just off the coast of Manhattan. Just look at all of you, Queen Medusa says. You look wonderful. You look ready. I am sorry for holding you up, but I like to see all the children before they go through Terrigenesis. Oh, no, Queen Medusa. We're honored. Honored and very, very nervous, I think. What is your name? My name is Valto, Your Majesty. Ah, Valto. Tell me, am I right? Are you all nervous about what is to come? Of course, they look at each other and it's like, no, they don't speak. She says, listen to me. And I do like this depiction of Medusa on this panel. You know, her face. Sometimes her face does not get captured really good, in my opinion. She says, children, when we are finished here, Ariel, Iso, and Inferno will take you to a transport, which will head to the Terrigen Cloud. There you will breathe in its sacred mist, and then you will all become something new. You will learn the true expression of your inhuman self. I remember when it was my turn to enter the mist. I was terrified. I didn't want to change. I liked who I was. And she says her mother, who was Queen Amber, asked her if she was nervous, and she says that she lied. But, of course, her mom knew the truth, and she went through the mist anyway, not knowing what she would become. And she says that her mother told her the best thing that she can be when she comes out of the mist is yourself. And then Johnny Storm, formerly of the Fantastic Four, interrupts, saying something's coming. So why is Johnny Storm on the side of the Inhumans since he's not an Inhuman? I never figured that out. Back at the bunker, Storm is asking how long do they have till the mist totally, lose the hold on it is lost. Hank says 2 weeks. That they only have 2 weeks remaining. And the younger one says, "Can that be right?" Forge asks if he's double checked his calculations, and Storm asks if the Inhumans have been told about it. And the elder Hank says his calculations are correct. And then Rogue poses a very good question. Why are we just hearing about this now? You trying to tell me none of you geniuses saw this coming? I love Rogue. Magneto says, my people will not be gassed to death. Now, if you know anything about Magneto, this guy, even though he's a villain, he's a bad guy, he survived the Holocaust. Yes, the one where so many Jewish people were gassed. And I think that's a reference to the Holocaust. My people will not be gassed to death. He says, tell me your solution, McCoy. You always have something. End the drama and tell us what we need to do. He says, you weren't listening, Eric. There are no solutions. There are choices, but no solutions. We can leave, all of us. We can leave Earth and find somewhere else to start over. Or we can die. And Magneto says, I think you missed an option, Beast. And then I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce the name of this place. And it says Chadnia. He says we can fight. And this is one of the Inhumans. Says, hello, anyone there? You need to hurry, Gorgon. The cloud is coming. The Terrigen Mist Cloud. It's dangerous to mutants, but not to Inhumans. I know that, Crystal, but the X-gene detector McCoy gave us said there is a mutant in this building somewhere. Now this is kind of where the story gets a little bit confusing for me, because we just saw Magneto in the bunker. Okay? Now we go the next page over to where the Inhumans are rescuing this mutant, okay? And Gordon finds him and says to him that they need to get him out of there and take him to safety. And so this mutant, who does not identify himself, says, "You're one of those magic people. I have heard of you. You will not hurt me?" And Gordon assures him that they won't. And so Crystal says that they're going to bring the RIV around, which is the Royal Inhuman Vessel. Okay? Now we're back at the bunker. This is why it starts to get confusing to me. Beast says, "Fight! Magneto, you think we should attack the Inhumans?" See, he's talking to Magneto here. This is what is confusing to me. And you'll see why. Old Man Logan says, "You said our other choices are abandoning Earth or lying down to die. Sounds like all we got is crazy." And they continue to argue. And Hank says that, they almost died as well. And that he also mentions that the Inhumans have a battle plans, because he's seen them. And then Emma steps in and says, "Oh, poor, furry, naive man. So are we." And we're still here at the bunker. And Emma says, "Should I tell him now?" "Tell me what?" Magneto says, "Go ahead, Emma. Honestly, I'm surprised you waited this long." And Emma Frost says, "You've been working on an answer with the Inhumans for 8 months, Henry. We've been working too, obviously." And she says, "I think we all wanted you to succeed. A peaceful solution really would have been preferable. But there was always a chance that you would fail. So we came up with, well, I suppose you would call it a warlike solution." Rogue steps in and says, "Who's this we you keep talking about? I don't know anything about this." And then, Emma gets really snippy. Of course, she's always been that way. She says, "If you would stop interrupting me, sugar, perhaps you would know something about it. We didn't tell everyone, but everyone has a role. Let me explain." And now we go to a place called the Tower of Wisdom. It all begins with Karnak. He senses flaws, which means he's probably already seen that the current mutant Inhuman truce is bound to fail. That's Karnak. And then someone comes to him and says that they're sorry to disturb his meditation, but he says, "Someone's here to see me, right? He'll probably see us coming a mile away." "A mutant," Karnak says. "Yes, but how did you, should I send her away?" "No, bring her to me," Karnak says. "That's why he'll be the first to go." And then back at the bunker, Emma says, "Once he's dealt with, we'll handle the other Inhuman power centers. Medusa and New Attilan, her sister Crystal and her team, as well as that ugly ship they fly around in. And of course, that monster Black Bolt, he killed Scott. He is mine." And young Hank McCoy says, "Wait, when you say handle, do you mean handle or just, handle? Like there's one way to interpret that?" Magneto says, "No one will die, at least as we have things planned thus far. Of course, if some of the Inhumans refuse to accept the inevitable, then they will have to be handled." Now, Emma says, "Once the Inhumans are subdued and leaderless, they won't be able to prevent us from destroying the remaining Terrigen Cloud. Forge, will you walk us through your part of the plan?" He says, "Sure." I designed the machine that should wait. And of course, who steps in? Hank McCoy, Beast. He's starting to get upset because he doesn't like the plan. Are you really foolish enough to think that this is going to be that simple to neutralize Medusa and the others? You know, some of the most powerful people on the planet, Black Bolt alone. And he says, Storm, surely you can't be on board with this lunacy. She says, Henry, and before she can say another word, Emma Frost jumps in and says, enough! We know how powerful Black Bolt is. We saw it when he murdered my love in cold blood, Scott Summers. Don't worry, Henry. We spent a great deal of time thinking about how we would take care of each of them. And unlike you, we will not fail. Oh! Smack Dad right across the face. And then Logan says, Old Man Logan says, you're forgetting something. The dog. The Inhumans have a teleporting dog, right? Big, huge thing, I remember. Lets them show up anywhere. It's a walking security breach. Could spoil a lot of plans. Don't care how good they are. Emma gives him some props and says, actually, I can't believe we overlooked that. And he says, I ain't just at this meeting for my good looks, darling. Well spotted, Logan. Alright, Emma actually gives him some credit for that. So then we see Kamala Khan, the current Miss Marvel, out there in Jersey City. She's walking the stupid dog. And she's talking to someone, I can't remember who, and the dog is sniffing around because it smells something, and she's not paying attention. She's just talking away, and then she notices that her dog's gone and says he kind of does that, And then back at the bunker, Hank McCoy says, you can't do this. Why not, Henry? Emma says. We have a solution that will enable MutantCon to survive on this planet. Our home planet. Why do the Inhumans have more of a right to it than we do? Which she makes a good argument. That's not the point, Emma. We can survive the cloud. We just have to leave. But if we attack the Inhumans, they will do everything they can to destroy us. You don't know what they're truly capable of. You haven't seen it. I watched Black Bolt vaporize his own son when he thought he was a threat to his people. And she gets really furious. Look at that face. Look at those expressions in her eyes. She says, and I watched him kill Scott! Then Storm gets in. She says, enough. We need to take emotion out of this. This gathering represents the major mutant groups left on the planet. We can make a decision here for our people. We've heard both sides. Now, we vote. And so we're still here at the bunker. And Logan says, look, if we don't destroy that cloud, we all die. If we do, what's the worst that happens? A bunch of people stay the way they are and don't get superpowers. This ain't up for debate anymore. Let's get rid of the damn thing. So Rogue chimes in, saying that she doesn't want to go live off-world, but she doesn't want to attack either, so she votes no. And then Forge says he's lived off-world before, and it's not so bad, so he votes for it because he wants to see if the machine he built is going to work. And then the younger Beast says that he votes for it as well. And Storm says, I think we know how Emma and Magneto will vote. That's 4 votes toward their plan, 1 against, and 1 abstention, or absentee, I guess. That's it then. The majority votes to destroy the cloud. And then some more drama is going to kick in here. Alright, McCoy, it's happening, Magneto says. You could help, you know. You have unique access to New Attilan. They trust you. You could. He just says, shut up, Eric. And he goes on and says, how you think you're saving us, blah, blah, blah. And he says, how you think he's killing, that everything's going to be killed with this plan. And then he says he's walking away from it. He doesn't want any part of it. And all of a sudden we see this crack, and this big lightning bolt hits him in the back. And of course we know how that happened. Doesn't take a scientist. He says, Aurora, why? Storm did it. I'm so sorry, Henry. The plan Emma and Magneto made, it was my plan too. We need to get Beast some medical attention. As for the rest of us, it's time. And now we switch back to the Hellfire Club. Black Bolt goes back to see who the VIP is. Now this is what's so strange. They do not tell us in the comic book when this takes place. Hello, Black Bolt. Let's chat. That's Emma Frost. She was just at the bunker. So it doesn't. The comic book doesn't tell me, the reader, when this is happening. I mean, I know it's got to be sometime after the meeting at the bunker. And by the way, Emma looks, wow, she is like smoking. I'm sorry, I had to comment on that. Of course, she's always smoking. And she's looking at him, and Black Bolt's standing still like a statue. She said, perhaps I'll do the talking, she says. And of course, she does. And Black Bolt is, the consort of Queen Medusa. And she says, you seem tense. I wonder why that could possibly be. Don't worry. We're under a truce. Your people and mine. I'm sure you remember when that happened. Why it happened. And she says, if we weren't, even if we weren't, why? This is the quiet room. Neutral ground. All grievances are set aside under Black Bolt's roof. She's making fun of him. No one starts a fight here, and they know better. They know better. Big bad Black Bolt. Place keeping the peace. A walking atomic bomb. If anything starts, you end it. But that only works as long as no one ends you. Right? Knock, knock. And then in comes Lady Shine, who happens to know Emma Frost. She says, you seem puzzled, Black Bolt. Let me make it very clear. Our truce, wait for it. Now see that Emma has changed to her diamond ice form. Is over. The truce is over. Now, Black Bolt's going to attack. But then this Lady Shine picks up what looks like some sort of gun. Easy there, pal. How about you sit down? And Black Bolt lets out a huge scream. And it does something to Lady Shine, because you can see how she's in distress there. I think it's a kind of a shriek. But we find out this Lady Shine is someone familiar. She says, whoa, that was bracing. I think that was even worse than the last time you hit me with that voice of yours. Then Black Bolt realizes this is somebody he knows. And by the way, that is a wonderful drawing right there of that lady. And to show that her powerful effect of what she can do, because does have powers. And then Emma Frost punches Black Bolt for Cyclops. Then she says, "Go ahead, Dazzler," who is also a mutant. He can't say a word. Good, holding all this power. She says, "Good, holding all this power Black Bolt gave me is starting to hurt." Because Dazzler has an effect where I guess maybe she absorbs the power that's fired at her or whatever. Guess I'd better give it back. And so she does, and Black Bolt hits the floor. He's not dead, but he is pretty much out of it. Well done, Ellison. Remind me never to raise my voice to you. Then we go to a different location. This is back to Karnak. Now this is really strange, because this shows us how powerful Jean Grey is. And this is the younger Jean Grey, the time-displaced Jean Grey. He says, "Well, I was expecting them to send someone, but not you, Miss Grey." "Who? No? Who did you expect?" "I thought they would send one of their warriors. Logan, maybe." "My feelings are hurt, Karnak. I've always considered myself a warrior. You are a child, and you are out of your depth, Miss Grey. Perhaps if you snuck up on..." Wait, that's odd. Deja vu. She says, "That's because this is the 4th time we've had this same conversation. I actually arrived 6 hours ago. And for someone who's only a child, this Jean Grey, the time-displaced Jean Grey, looks really hot." So it dwells on Karnak what's happened. He's like, "Oh, they've been there six hours. I will get out of this, Miss Grey." And she says, "I know, but by then it will be too late." And see here. Okay, what's going on my screen here? Chednia. Okay, now this is Gorgon speaking. The Inhuman says, "Are you all right, sir? I know this might be a little intimidating, but believe me, we're the good guys. We just saved your life. Do you..." I'm not sure he's following this, Crystal says. "Swain, take him to medical and get him checked out. Then give him a good meal. After that, we'll take him wherever he wants to go." "You got it, Captain. We'll get on it, right?" And then the guy who they were talking about says this. He says, but what if I'm already exactly where I want to be? Past your battleships, external defenses, in the very heart of the beast. And as for saving my life, Crystal and McQuinn, I am Magneto." Now this is the same person Gorgon rescued from that building a few pages back. All the while, Magneto was in the bunker there making plans. So this is 2 events going on at the same time, and it's not told us, when this is actually happening. How many days from the meeting in the bunker this is. Anyway. It says, "No one saves me." And of course, Magneto has the power of magnetism, so he tears up that ship like it's happening right there. And while we're on the subject, Magneto says, you don't save mutants. I do. And so he's using his power of magnetism to incapacitate them as much as possible. And then we go back to Jersey City, where Kamala Khan lost track of that big dog. And this is I think this is Phantom Mask. Oh, for crying out loud, I can't remember how to pronounce his name. He says, Tisk, everything I do for these people. Everything I can do for these people. And it's, oh, Phantom X. You go after the dog. Why can I never remember this guy's name? Phantom X. And it seems like he has put sleeping pills in the dog's mouth or something. And then it shows us we're back on New Attilan. And there's Johnny Storm standing with Medusa, who says, those fools. Ariel, take the children to the bunkers beneath the city. Keep them safe. Iso and Inferno, secure the main gates and sound a general battle alarm. All non-combat inhabitants of the city should head to emergency quarters until we sound the all clear. She says, Johnny, this isn't your fight. You should leave. He says, that's one idea, Medusa. Here's another. He flames on. He says, so what now? As far as I know, the truth still holds. If they're here to talk, we'll talk. And if they're not, Johnny says, then Johnny, we fight, as the other side plans to do. And there's some here that that weren't seen in the earlier portion of the comic book. But this issue was confusing. 1 minute we're in the bunker, next minute Gorgon's saving somebody who's really Magneto, and then we're back to the bunker where Magneto is making plans with the rest of the X-Men. So this is this issue was confusing. The artwork was great. The artwork was great because look at this last page alone, the various colors, and Storm there in the middle. And I believe that's a Nightcrawler and young Cyclops and even a Sentinel. And I think that's the Firebrand, who also was not in this issue earlier. But anyway, that something, it was confusing. 1 minute we're in the bunker, another minute there's Gorgon rescuing Magneto, next minute we're back in the bunker, and then the next minute, it's the Hellfire Club where Emma Frost is, and then we go back to the bunker, I think, where Emma is still there making plans. Okay, so it was confusing, but overall, aside from that, the artwork was excellent, I thought. And the drama for the story was really cool. So overall, it was a good it was a good issue. Inhumans vs X-Men #1. So what did you think of this issue? Did you like it or did you dislike it? Let me know in the comments below. Also, please do subscribe to my channel and smash the bell like She-Hulk so you can get notifications of when I upload a new video. Also, like the review, and share it with someone else so they can enjoy it as well. I'm Michael for Spirit Comics. Till next time, true readers.